What's your level of certainty?
I am not uncertain.
You're some gangster. Swaggering up here, making threats.
You gangster sounds like a compliment.
Not how I meant it.
Let's talk about finance and business lessons from the 9th episode of Billions Season 2, based on my work experience at Goldman Sachs in New York City and based on my work experience at the top hedge funds in the world. Now, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stick around because at the end of this video, I'm going to grade the episode for Wall Street Realism with a buy, hold, or sell rating. In this video, we will discuss 3 topics. The first topic is how the Mafia makes a fortune on Wall Street and how the Gambino crime family and others made a killing through finance crimes by competing with Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street. And Bobby also partners with the Mafia to make a fortune.
Who is Bobby Axelrod to you?
He's a friend.
In topic 2 of 3, we will discuss why some hedge fund billionaires justify breaking the law.
I'm a rich man. You're a very rich man. If we can't live how we want, then the terrorists have already won.
In topic 2, I'm also going to inspire you to consider quitting your job and starting your company today. In topic 3 of 3, we'll discuss how people make money from carbon credits and exactly what are carbon credits.
You're rich. They're called private planes.
I almost booked it. Carbon footprint alone is...
You're really that worried about the world ending?
Yes.
Topic 1, the Mafia and Wall Street. In this episode, District Attorney Chuck Rhodes, who's always trying to arrest corrupt hedge fund billionaire Bobby, meets with a member of the Mafia who's very close to Bobby. And the Mafia was helping Bobby to profit from this $500 million municipal bond that we spoke about when I explained how bonds work in this episode here. Now, in real life, the Mafia has made a fortune on Wall Street. And the Gambino crime family's Sal Romano even competed with Jordan Belfort. And Sal, the pizza guy Romano, was indicted on about a $100 million stock scam, making Romano one of the richest mobsters in history. Now, there's 5 families that dominate the Mafia in or close to New York City, including the Gambino family. And we'll come back to these 2 families soon. Now, Romano used to work at Lehman Brothers in the 1980s. And his autobiography is coming out soon, where he's going to discuss how the Mafia scammed many Americans into losing money on smaller cap NASDAQ stocks during the internet bull market of the late 1990s. Now, what the Mafia did was a more sophisticated and corrupt version of what Jordan Belfort did, as Belfort often scammed investors by transacting in penny stocks. And Romano cooperated with the government and was in the witness protection program. Now, similar to Bobby and his wife Lara, Romano also stashed millions of dollars of cash in his house in case he had to flee. But he chose to cooperate instead, and eventually John Gotti Jr. was charged with securities fraud, but the jury chose to acquit him. Now, it's very difficult for the government to take down a lot of crime families unless they have an unlimited number of resources. In fact, in June of 2000, more than 600 FBI agents arrested more than 120 people in the largest securities fraud case in history up until that point. People arrested included members of the Colombo and Bonanno crime families. And what they did was they set up an investment bank called DMN Capital and defrauded many people. And they used mob violence and intimidation and money laundering and bribes as well. Now, after 9/11 and the creation of the Patriot Act, new anti-money laundering provisions were put in place so that hedge funds have to really be careful about accepting dirty money. Now, when you invest in a hedge fund, you have to complete what are called subscription documents, which are 10 to 20 pages long, and they ensure that you're an accredited investor. And what that means, per this SEC website, is investors' net worths need to be above $1 million and with annual salaries of $200,000 or $300,000 for a married couple. Separately, the biggest securities fraud in history was the Bernard Madoff scandal, where he ran a Ponzi scheme. But he took it to the next level because his company was the 6th largest S&P 500 market maker. In fact, he stole more than $19 billion from about 40,000 investors. Now, to be fair, I always knew that he was a criminal because his name was Madoff. You know, he made off. Now, of the 40,000 investors that he scammed was John Malkovich, which might explain why Malkovich brilliantly played the role of a Russian billionaire mobster in the 3rd season of Billions. Now, how did Bobby get the Mafia to agree to partner with him in Bobby's bid to profit off of this Sandicott municipal, meaning muni bond?
I'm your partner on the muni player. On a no-risk basis to me, 5% off the books.
Done.
So this Mafia contact was helping to make sure that the right people choose to sell their land in Sandicott so that a casino could be built there, so that this muni bond here that Axe bought for $100 million would quickly be worth $500 million. Now, that Mafia contact wants to skim or take 5% of the profits from the casinos. And of course this is illegal, but it is chump change compared to what many banks and some hedge funds profited from skimming part of the $3.7 trillion municipal bond market in the United States. And this is something that the Mafia would do. How? Well, GE Capital and some very large banks like JP Morgan and the now defunct Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns, they colluded in what's called bid rigging. Now, by law, you cannot partner with another company and say, hey, let's both agree to charge a lower or higher price on products. And what these banks did was they colluded by saying, hey, why don't we all agree to buy these munis, meaning muni bonds, in an auction type setting at a lower price, meaning a lower interest rate. Then after they would buy the muni bonds, they would sell them for a higher price to the public. And what this means is they effectively stole billions of dollars from municipal schools and hospitals. And they did this in almost every single state in America. And this sounds like something that the Mafia would do when bidding for waste management contracts. Well, it is, because these banks learned this from the Mafia. And here's the proof from the Justice Department's website right here. Now, Mafia-style collusion like this happens all the time with banks, and the fines and jail sentences are minimal. Now, believe me, I'm a capitalist, but I don't think our government is tough enough on white-collar or financial crimes. Case in point is the 2008 financial crisis, when we were within 24 hours of bank machines not working. And back then, many people lost their houses. But the banks that got massive bailouts by the government, and then by 2010, these banks that got the bailouts, they gave their employees record bonuses. Now it makes more sense to me why the Occupy Wall Street movement took place. Now, extreme capitalists will argue that if you let the banks go under, then we don't have an economy, hence the term too big to fail. And for more details, just Google this: Wall Street collusion cases, and the list is endless. Topic 2 of 3, why some hedge fund billionaires justify breaking the law.
When did it become a crime to succeed in this country? America used to salute the guy in the limousine and wanted to be the guy in the limousine. They still want to.
Not all billionaires, but many, have spent their entire lives thinking differently, like an outlaw.
The word outlaw meant something. It meant that the law didn't apply to you.
And on the political spectrum, with left being socialist and the right being capitalist, many hedge fund billionaires live right here, meaning they're libertarians, where they believe in small government intervention and absolute freedom of the individual. And this is crucial to understand when it comes to the psychology of many people you're going to meet. And the libertarian concept was popularized by Ayn Rand, as we can see in this next clip here from this current episode.
What business are we in? I thought it was a business of profit. Free men and women. Beyond the apparatchiks and their pathetic rules.
Yeah, all of that. And who was John Galt?
Axe just mentioned who is John Galt. And he's a character from Ayn Rand's 1957 novel called Atlas Shrugged. Now, the writers of Billions are brilliant, as the show is so multi-dimensional, and you get cultured while watching it. Now, this character here, Dollar Bill, and Axe are both extreme libertarian, and they really embrace this outlaw concept. In fact, in this episode, Axe has a massive party for himself, and he doesn't even show up. To which Dollar Bill had this to say while at the party.
Axe didn't show up? Who does that? Skips his own party.
Fantastic.
Maybe he's an introvert too.
No, he's not an introvert. I just remembered he's an outlaw. A desperado.
And this outlaw culture, or don't mess with me culture, really influences other employees to also act the same way.
Axe doesn't take attendance, but he knows who's in the room. I'll leave it at that.
Did you just say
I did.
you're one of us now?
Now, why is it that sometimes we see billionaires getting arrested for insider trading? Why would they break the law if they're already billionaires? Well, one reason is once a criminal, always a criminal. And the way they likely became billionaires is because they broke the law many times but did not get caught. Now, of course, most hedge fund billionaires are not corrupt. But if you work for a corrupt manager and your manager asks you to do something that compromises your morale DNA subfabric, then understand, please, that they might be using you so you get caught and they don't. Like, they are the king and their army of analysts are pawns that can be sacrificed. And if you work at a company and you're asked to compromise your own ethics, I want you to say exactly this from this current episode.
I'm not really sure I'm entirely comfortable with that.
Now, another reason that some people that are already rich in the hedge fund industry break the law is because the cancer of Wall Street is that we compare ourselves to those that make more than us. And I'm certainly guilty of this. You know, when I worked at Goldman Sachs, we were all depressed every bonus season because some people got paid more than us, which is absolutely ridiculous. And this explains why there are so many depressed people on Wall Street. Now, please read this book right here by the Dalai Lama called The Art of Happiness, where he said the problem with Western society is we sacrifice our health our entire lives in order to make money. Then at the end of our lives, we sacrifice all of our money in order to maintain our health. And then we look back and we realize we never really lived to begin with. And as Oprah Winfrey said, you can have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time, meaning you can't have it all at once. So please enjoy the ride and live for today. Don't you want to be happy today? Now, if you're miserable because you work for somebody that pays you this much money to make their dreams become a reality, then you're living in a nightmare, and I want to humbly help you. I want to discuss 8 reasons to quit dreaming and start your company today, meaning freedom to live your life on your terms starting right now. Now, I had a dream that I went to a corporate picnic, and I had to tell my kids to please be on their best behavior so it wouldn't limit my career. And actually, this wasn't a dream. It was a nightmare. And if I had to create a title for my nightmare would be called Forced Family Fun. Now, it doesn't matter how many companies you start in business. You only have to be right one time. So please, please, please don't spend the rest of your life thinking what could have happened. Make it happen starting today. Now, many famous people started their business empires out of frustration and failure. You know, Jay-Z couldn't get a record label to sign him, so he started his own record label. And many people don't realize that Bill Gates' first major business venture did not work out for him. And Thomas Edison failed more times than the top 50 entrepreneurs in the world did combined. And perhaps those aforementioned business icons realized that they were in fact creating a new market out of frustration and the hope of having the freedom of living their dreams. So starting your own business should not be about money. It should be about passion and freedom. Freedom to live your life on your terms. Freedom to never answer to anybody ever again. You know, freedom to set your own corporate culture the right way. And freedom to be able to take an entire week off and do charity work if you want, or take your kids to school in the morning and pick them up at night as well. Freedom to spend more time during the week with your parents, significant others, and friends that share your core values when it comes to entrepreneurship. Freedom to know that if you work for yourself, it is the ultimate meritocracy, meaning you eat what you kill. And freedom to know that there are no limitations anymore on your career. Freedom to know that those that might have thought of you as a threat at your previous company can no longer hold you back. Freedom from all politics, freedom to create, freedom to donate, freedom to be you. Now, here are 8 reasons that you must write that business plan starting tonight so you can live life on your own terms. Number 1, freedom to know that working for yourself creates a simple formula so you know how much you're going to get compensated. And as a result of the freedom of self-employment, you don't have to rely on others stealing your commissions or your ideas at work. And corporate politics sucks the life out of you and the creativity and freedom out of you. Number 2, freedom to know the rules and set the rules so you don't have to dance on eggshells and worry if you're overqualified or a threat to others. Number 3, freedom to select your own customers that have the same core values in life that you have. Number 4, freedom to really challenge yourself and compete with yourself and know in your heart that there's no glass ceiling stopping you from progressing. Number 5, freedom to have the pride and peace of mind, knowing that you will never, ever, 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 ever again get out of bed in the morning and tell yourself you're going to work. That hurt. Number 6, freedom of expression and the peace of mind knowing that you're allowed to focus on your personal, passionate pursuit of happiness. Number 7, we're almost done here. Freedom to spend your time pursuing your charitable passion so that you can leave the world a better place than when you entered it. That's the reason we're here. Lastly, number 8, freedom to live and work from anywhere in the world. So in this new digital reality, working abroad is now an option. Heck, you can go work in Paris or Dubai or Montreal or Rio if you want to as well. And so please don't put off your entrepreneurship dreams anymore. Start writing your business plan right now so that you can enjoy the freedom to live your dream and to live your life on your own terms starting today. And I want to humbly help you live your life on your terms. And so please see the description of this video and book a call with me so I can help you start your empire. Topic 3 of 3. How do people make money from carbon credits? And what exactly are carbon credits?
You're rich. They're called private planes.
I almost booked it. Just don't know if I can actually get on it. Carbon footprint alone is...
You're really that worried about the world ending?
Yes.
Now, if you own land or a farm and you don't use the land to build a factory, for example, then there's a chance you can make money from it by selling what are called carbon credits. And you can use these resources you see right here to learn more. And I've never allowed anybody to sponsor my videos. But with these resources, you can make money like dividends from the forest on your property, for example. Now, living things contain carbon, and carbon is crucial because it helps to sustain and create life. And if you burn carbon and most things, then carbon dioxide can be released into the atmosphere, which is bad for climate change, and it can lead to global warming. Now, if we burn less stuff in factories, then we don't put as much carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which is where carbon credits come into play. Now, based on these and other agreements, companies are given a certain number of carbon credits each year by their government. And I want you to think of these carbon credits as permission slips that you got in school to miss class, but also assume that you can sell that permission slip if you decide to go to class. Now, carbon credits mean that you can pollute a certain amount each year. Now, if you pollute less than expected, then you can sell the excess carbon credits to other companies that run out of carbon credits. And each carbon credit contains 1 metric ton of CO2, meaning carbon dioxide. And the average American produces about 16 tons of CO2 per year because we use cars and we consume plastic products, etc. And this is actually down about 20% since 1990. Now, Microsoft has been carbon neutral since 2012, which is awesome. And they plan to be carbon negative by 2030. And by 2050, Microsoft will get rid of all carbon credits they've ever produced since the company was founded. I love Satya Nadella. And by 2030, Apple plans to have every product they sell to have net zero climate impact. And these companies you see right here plan to be carbon neutral by these dates right here. Now, for more details on carbon offset exchanges, please see these marketplaces right here, which are also in the description of this video. The bottom line is that carbon credits are great for the environment because companies think with their wallets, and there's a financial incentive to pollute less. And this is an awesome way to use capitalism to make the world a better place. Let's talk about grading of this episode for Wall Street Realism with a buy, hold, or sell rating. The episode did a superb job of showing how the mafia is involved in the financial services industry. And the episode also did an incredible job of helping us understand the libertarian and outlaw nature of many successful people on Wall Street. And the writing was impeccable too, with a reference to Ayn Rand. As a result, I'm going to give this episode a buy rating. Now, please subscribe, and I will see you soon in our next reaction video when we react to Season 2, Episode 10. Thank you.